Welcome to Ear Biscuits, I'm Rhett.
And I'm Link. This week at the round table of dim lighting, we're asking the question, how was London?
How was it?
And then we're answering that question, because as of the recording of this, we are still pretty fresh off of our trip to London, England, United Kingdom, Europe, world.
Not for long. I still have jet lag.
I still am, well.
Are you waking up? I'm waking up
it
at
is
like
8 hours
3
ahead
o'clock
of us.
I'm waking up at like 3 a.m. and I'm like, ready to go. And then I'm like, you gotta go back to sleep.
Well, the thing that I'm noticing is at about 7 o'clock at night.
It hits you.
I get hit really hard with this like irritability that, like I was out to dinner with the family and they were all talking and, you know, interacting with one another, which I mean, that if that's your thing.
Yeah, families talking.
It was not my thing at the time. I mean, I stopped at one point, I was like, guys, I just want to tell you, we're like halfway through the meal.
I am so irritable right now.
I just feel like I could explode with irritability and I'm just like very testy.
You know, this is kind of crazy because you know how it's manifested itself with me? Extreme restless legs. Extreme restless leg. Now I have restless legs syndrome and I think I've talked about this before, but anyway, it's this, you know, the irresistible urge to move, and what was happening is it was in my right leg and then it started getting in my right hand.
But hold on, this is only when you're sleeping, right?
No, it happens typically when you're trying to go to sleep. But what was happening, which was so weird, is that because of the jet lag, it was hitting me about 7:30 for me. So on Monday night, I was in my therapy appointment and I started having it real bad and like my leg was bouncing up and down and then I've never had it in my arm. And so my arm was also like, I was like moving around a lot. And my therapist was like, you're very uncomfortable with what we're talking about right now, aren't you? And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, but it's because I got restless legs, brah.
In my arm.
And
you got restless leg in your arm.
And then
why not call it restless arm?
And then I don't know what that is. And then the next night, I went back to my therapist with my wife. It's a long story.
Well, let's go into it.
And we just needed an emergency session. And
okay.
It was actually great, an incredible session. But during that, it happened again and I was just thinking about it.
Show me exactly what you were doing.
Like, you see my foot? Can you see my foot? My foot would be out like this and I'd be like this.
Okay, your foot's out. So you're just waggling your foot. But what about your arm? You got a fist, you got one hand in a fist and you're like grabbing it with your other
just
hand.
Moving.
You just look very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I look like I'm squirming my way out of something. And maybe I was.
Yeah, like when you get sent to the principal's office but you have to wait outside and everyone's walking by going to lunch and they see you sitting there.
Yeah.
And you're like, his legs twitching, he's holding the hands with himself.
But just to be clear, because a lot of people think, oh, I tap my leg a lot. I must have, that's not restless leg syndrome. So if you have a tendency to let out excess energy by like bobbing your knee up and down like that, not restless legs, not the same thing. Restless legs is this, you only can explain it if you have it, is this irresistible urge to move to the point that you feel like you're going to, it gets so uncomfortable not to move. So it's not like the little thing where you're just bobbing up and down. And
well, you know
don't wish it on your worst enemy.
I'm sorry you have that, Rhett.
Okay, go ahead though.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
Never experienced it. I mean, I'm only imagining what it would be like just by hearing you describe it.
Right, and I describe it in such a vivid way. You don't even need to watch the video version of this podcast in order to get all the, of course, maybe you do because I did a lot of physical things a second ago. It was pretty impressive.
Well, you shook your foot and that wasn't even in the shot.
But you saw it. They can see your face looking at me.
Yeah, they can. Why are you yawning, man? See, it's hitting you.
I'm tired, man.
Jet lag, dude.
I'm from London.
Once I told them I was about to explode with irritability, then it actually helped, and I didn't, for the record.
Yeah. You separated yourself from it. You are not your emotions.
But they seem to not have heard me. It wasn't like they responded. It's like, oh, thanks for sharing. They could have said that.
Yeah.
They just kept talking. But it made me feel good to acknowledge that I had feelings instead of letting those feelings control me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm actually trying to do. And it was nice to know that it was jet lag and that I'm not just a jerk that doesn't want to be around my family, because I do.
Yeah, because I thought something was wrong with me. It was so intense, and it was just that, no, you would be asleep right now and you're not, and yeah.
Yeah, because 7 p.m. feels like, let's see, plus 8 is 15 a.m., which is 3 a.m. There is no 15 a.m. 1500 hours would be 3 p.m.
Right.
There's no 15 a.m.
That's the next day.
You know, we should change that.
They should just keep counting. They should count from the beginning of time.
So we're going.
That should be what time it is.
We've never been to London, so this podcast is going to be us sharing with you our first ever experience in London, except for being at the airport. I mean, we've connected through the London airport, but we've never been in the land of London, like out and about.
Yeah.
So we're going to share those things with you. We were there for VidCon and also for a concert that we played, which was at the same venue, but was technically, well, it was a part of VidCon, but it was a separate event, separate ticket.
It's a little complicated, but it doesn't matter because it's done.
It's over. And I was just looking at the pictures from the concert, and I was like, man, that
cool pictures.
Really validates having done it when you have cool looking pictures of it.
Well, we got some pictures taken by, it was Anique, is that how, yeah.
Thank you, Anique.
Anique, mythical beast.
For doing that.
From Amsterdam, came over and took some pictures of us. She took a lot of pictures, and then she sent us what she deemed to be the cool ones, and they are very cool. I posted one to my Instagram.
So lots of thoughts about London. We'll get into all that, but first, I just wanted to share a story with you, something that happened to me that I haven't shared when I got back from London. So a few days ago, I injured myself.
Oh, surprise.
And I just thought I would share it with you, loyal Ear Biscuit listener, and to you, Rhett, loyal friend and irritable companion.
Yep.
So I get home and I happen to mention to Chrissy, I was like, I'm gonna put my passport away. I'm gonna put it back in the safe. I keep my passport in our fireproof safe, which ultimately I just think if there was a fire, I guess we'd grab the safe, but if we didn't, maybe it would survive, but I don't know. It's like-
It's fireproof, man.
It's fireproof to a certain degree. That's true. I wouldn't grab it, it's heavy. It's a lot of things, as I'll get into. And she was like, oh, get my passport too because I haven't put mine back in there. I was like, well, we need to keep them in there.
Yeah.
So I go get hers. And the safe is not in the place that it used to be.
Well, don't tell us where it's at because I'll break in and get it.
I have to tell you.
Okay.
Because what's more important is me telling the story than keeping secret where my secret safe is.
I got a dummy safe. I got a safe that they'll take and they think that they got the safe.
Where is that one?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Where's the real safe?
Definitely not telling you that.
Oh, you didn't fall for it this time, but you had already told me that it's under your bed. Isn't it?
My safe can't fit under my bed, bro.
You got a big safe?
Yeah.
Like how big is your dummy safe? I've seen your dummy safe. It's like you walk in the front door and it's right there.
You could carry it, but the real safe I can get into.
What?
I've never told you about it.
The dummy safe is in the front of your house, just sitting there. Like a thief walks in, you're like, dummy safe here. Like,
it says take me.
I'm dummy. I'm not a dummy safe, is what it says.
It says free.
You have a walk-in safe?
I might. Let's talk about you getting hurt.
Ironically, a walk-in safe is not safe because you can get locked in.
Well, I'm not planning on locking myself into it.
My safe is pretty small. It's like the size of 4 trapper keepers stacked on top of each other. It's got a lid on it. Anyway, it's not in the place that it used to be, and neither is Jade's dog kennel. Jade is here with me today. Jade, say hello. Jade, say hello. I'm telling a story about your kennel, your cage. I don't like to call it a cage because it's her home when we're not at home, and she likes it. It makes her feel secure to go in there, and more importantly, she doesn't pee or poop in it.
Oh, so you you still put her in her crate when you leave.
because she will pee and poop in the house. She's part Dotson, and then she's the part that likes to sneak and pee. Anyway, when Britton moved into our house, we converted the office into his bedroom.
Right.
Glorified closet. Anyway, that's where we kept her kennel, and where I also kept the safe, and I kept the printer. So then I'm like, I gotta find a new place to put our printer. I moved all of that stuff that's in that bigger room that he now sleeps in into the closet that's underneath the stairs that lead up to my bedroom. So like picture like a Harry Potter kind of closet. You open the door to that closet, there's a light switch in there.
Why didn't you just put Britton in there?
I thought about it. I did think about it. I was like, hey, if it's good enough for Harry.
Yeah, give him something to write a song about.
Right. Have you been in this closet? You open the door, you hit a light switch.
I didn't know it was there.
It's a very.
Next time I'm going in though.
When you open the door, you're looking down the staircase that like it goes, if you look straight ahead once you open the door, it goes away from you to it slopes down to a point. So you're not looking at it sideways where it's sloping sideways. You're at the tallest point and then it's sloping down to the floor.
When you open the door.
When you open the door. And a matter of fact, it kind of slopes down and then there's like a cubby hole that I put, stop yawning while I'm telling a story.
It's boring, man.
I know you're jet lagged, but it's not good for my ego.
Your story's boring.
So it slopes down and
you're
then
talking about the architecture of this under the stairs room.
Is it
important?
The architecture is important to what happens.
Okay.
So you need to be able to visualize this. You walk in, it's about 6 feet tall. It immediately slopes down to about 2.5 feet tall where there's a cubby hole that I put the printer in.
Oh, that's nice.
Then in front of the printer, I put the safe.
In front of the printer?
It's just a small safe, 4 trapper keepers. Then to the right, there's enough room for a bookshelf that has all of our board games that we used to keep in Britton's room.
Oh, board games.
And then, so you can walk in and get to the printer or the safe or the board games.
You don't put the board games in the safe, huh?
No, not enough room. I don't have a walk-in safe.
I really value
I could make this whole closet a safe.
I got all my board games in my walk-in safe.
Don't want to, Chutes and Ladders is very flammable.
It's vintage edition.
It would be easy to get to the printer and to the safe, except for the fact that then at the last minute I realized I didn't know where to put Jade's crate. So then I put it in right smack dab in the middle. And it fills basically the whole floor of the closet. So when I go in there to put the 2 passports that are in my hand into the safe.
You gotta move the crate.
But moving the crate is difficult because it's almost the width of the door.
So to move the crate to print?
Yeah. Well,
this is not sustainable.
No, what
you
can do is you can basically, I can stand in front of the crate and bend over, like hinge, then put my hand on the crate or somewhere and then kind of reach and grab what I printed. That's worked a few times.
Easy.
But the printer's a foot higher than the safe. I didn't take that into account that this was gonna be more difficult. So I'm standing there, my shins against the front of Jade's crate. Then I hinge over and I realize I can't reach the safe. So what I do is I take my hand and I extend it out as far as I can. And when the slope goes down, it then goes vertical for a 2x4 and then goes horizontal into the cubby hole where the printer is. So there's a little 2x4 height where
you rested your hand on
I rested my hand on that and I'm pushing hard, holding up my body weight with my right hand. And then I'm reaching down with my left hand to open the safe. And I realized, well, I can't open the safe with my left hand because I got
my left hand doesn't know the combination. Only my right hand does.
There's no combination on my safe. It's just for fire. It's not for theft. All you gotta do is grab the handle, push down on the safe. You
don't have a combination?
No. Squeeze the handle and then it will open.
Mine scans my eye before I walk in.
I don't care.
That's not true, but I mean.
So then I'm like, I gotta switch hands. So then I gotta get my right hand down there because the safe handle's on the right side. And so I I put my left hand up there and I take my right hand down. So now I'm
always maintain a point of contact.
So now I am my whole upper body weight is being held up by my left hand, and then I reach down. Again, I have the passports in my hand, but then with my other 3 fingers, I'm gonna grab the handle, push down on the safe, pick it up all the way, open the lid, and then I'm going to throw the things in, and then I'm gonna close the lid, and then I'm gonna unhinge myself, and I'm gonna get out of there like a proud man. That's not how it happened. So I'm holding myself up with my left hand, and I reach down to grab the, open the safe, and I open the safe, and as the lid is coming up, and I'm trying to pull the lid up, my left hand slides off of the 2x4 that's holding my whole entire body weight up.
Into the cubby.
Yeah, and it goes into air, and then I start falling. So the lid is up on the safe, my hand is in a free fall, my body begins to be in a free fall forward, and the lid, my right hand starts to fall too, and I try to catch myself with my right hand because I let go of the safe and I turn my hand around to put my palm toward the ground and catch myself. But as I do that, the lid of the safe comes down on my fingertips.
I think I see the finger that got the brunt of it.
And then the lid snaps shut on my fingertips while my left hand comes down on top of the safe and pushes my entire body weight on top of the safe lid, thereby smushing completely my middle finger. And I'm not just saying the tip, I'm saying just below, it clamped down just below the base of the fingernail.
So basically the whole top part above that knuckle was safe from fire.
Yes, it was. That is the positive spin on this story. The negative spin was that I was in excruciating pain where I had—
See any wordy dirts?
I had locked my middle finger of my right hand into the safe and was applying my full body weight on top of it. And I was in like a yoga position that you just can't magically hinge up. You just can't magically, like my feet are way back here behind the kennel.
The fire safe position. Dad's doing fire safe.
I was like bent over a barrel basically. And I don't know, at that point I'm like struggling to get my finger out of the safe and it won't come out. I'm like, I wasn't—
Were you home alone?
I was not saying English. I was not saying expletives. I was grunting like a caveman in pain, agony, and just total despair that I was gonna be there forever.
But how soon after that kind of thing happens, like in the middle of it, are you thinking, I'm gonna talk about this on Ear Biscuits? Because
it hurt.
That's what happens
so bad.
That's what happens to me now. Anything that happens that is like, I should have got myself into this situation.
Well, I'll answer that because, yeah, what happened was, it was an excruciating amount of pain, and of course time slows down at that point, but somehow I was able to hop my left hand off of the safe onto the floor and then rip my right hand out of the safe.
It was still closed though?
It didn't fully latch. That would have been impossible. And then I like put both my hands on the dog crate and like peel myself back.
Well, that you could have had trouble there too, putting all your weight on a dog crate.
Yeah, and then
it collapsed the whole thing.
And then I don't know if I immediately laid down on the floor or did a dance around the room, but I looked at the footage and you can hear, cause I have that security camera in that room. But I was out of frame, but I played it back and I could hear the noise I made. It was like, ugh! And then I was like, ah! oh!
Did you save that? Did you save that clip?
Oh, I got the clip. Yeah, well, if it works, we'll throw it in there. And I'm like wallowing on the ground like, oh! And like Christy comes in there, she's like, what's wrong? She told me later she thought that I had fallen down the stairs. It's like the noises you make when you are falling down the stairs.
You must have fallen down the stairs. No, let me explain what I did. It'll take 12 minutes.
I would have been bawling, except I was laughing and I was thinking about how ridiculous this was and that I was gonna share it with you on Ear Biscuits at that point. She got me some frozen peas and she was like, what happened? And I was like, I smushed my finger in the safe. I can't tell you the details because I feel kind of faint right now. And I was thinking about what had happened and I was starting to feel faint. And I sat there on my butt with frozen peas on my finger for like 10 minutes before I could like feel like I could stand up.
You thought you might have broken it maybe.
Well, I was convinced that like I had lost my fingertip or at least the nail. And I still may lose the nail. Oh man, it hurts. It still hurts a little bit. But oh man, I am so appreciative of nails.
You know what's kind of interesting as well?
If it wasn't for fingernails, I would have lost the fingertip. I think it's armor.
I'm not gonna tell the story because it's not much of a story, but you know the finger that I hurt before we left for London? I was telling you about putting my hand into my guitar case and the thing going between my fingernail.
Oh yeah.
It's the same finger. The middle finger of the right hand. It's been swollen, you see that?
You think this is a sign or something?
It's been swollen ever since. It's like I was worried that
You're talking about the cuticle on the right side of your
this thing finger. Went and it bled. It went down in there and then bled.
I did that one time and it got infected.
That's what I thought was happening.
And it swelled up so big that I superheated a needle underneath a flame and I stuck it in to like drain all the pus out.
I thought it was gonna get some sort of like London bacteria, like some old world bacteria that was gonna take me out. I don't know how bacteria works. Okay, we're both fine though.
I'm not fine, my fingertip still hurts, brother.
Okay, we are gonna talk about London, but first we are going to talk about Link's shirt. He has the brand new Apocalypse collection shirt. Well, it's a whole collection. There's a whole story behind this collection. This is something new that we're doing, where we're doing a collection of clothing.
It's called storywear.
Storywear.
It's not. You don't want to wear stuff that's logos. You want to wear something that tells a story.
So there's a story. By the time you're hearing this, I'm sure that the trailer for the story is going to be out. In fact, I just recorded the video for it, so hopefully it's out. And this is going to be something that we're gonna try. We're trying it and seeing how this goes. But we have
it's awesome.
An artist who kind of created all this incredible stuff that fits this theme about a post-apocalyptic world in which dogs have kind of taken over, and humans are the pets, and it's really cool stuff that just says mythical on it.
I'm very excited about the pants. We got
some camo sweats.
Camo sweats, very comfortable. So rep all of that. Mythical.store, check it out. We also have an Amazon store where we got stuff over there, so rep your boys.
Okay, let's talk about London.
Like we said, we had never been to London. The thing that I'm really into are the little differences. I thought maybe we could start with just a couple of the little differences that we noticed.
Well, there's the thing that you talked about at the beginning of our concert that you were fascinated with.
When you stop at a traffic light and it's because the light's red, that also means in London that you need to stop. Even though you're driving or riding on the other side of the road, when you see a red light, you should stop. But once you're stopped, when it's time to go, the light just doesn't turn green, people. It turns yellow to warn you, to give you a heads up that it's about to turn green, and then it turns green. So it turns yellow on both sides of a red. Warning, you're about to stop, yellow, red. And then heads up, you're about to get to go again, yellow, green. And I'd never heard of this. I just thought this would be something that they say about London. This seems important to me.
I think it's that way in other places too, other than just London. But
I've been to other places, never seen it. I don't deny that it could happen.
The reason there's not other places and it's unnecessary.
I love it.
It's unnecessary.
I love it because I'm a planner, man. I like to know when something's gonna happen. And specifically when it comes to driving, I like to be the guy who takes my foot off the brake.
Yep.
And I
understand
start to give it
that.
a little gas.
But here's why it's unnecessary. Because it flashes for such a short period of time, less than a second. Your action that you take after you see the yellow is the same action that we here in America take when we see green.
But here's the psychologically.
There's no difference though. There's no active difference.
There's definitely a psychological difference because if the light's green and I'm not going, I feel like a failure. So I feel like I have no chance of being a success unless I start risking going when it's red, which is unsafe and a violation.
I'm not looking for emotional support from the way I respond to traffic lights.
The Brits give me an opportunity to feel like a success when driving. And I like it because I want to be in motion.
But do you think that when they made the decision to do this in Parliament or wherever they made the decision, they were like,
they were yelling about it.
We want people to feel like success. No, they think they have a traffic reason for why this is the case. There's no other way.
You're a civil engineer. What do you think it is? Like walk a mile in their shoes.
The reason that from an engineering standpoint, and I haven't thought about this much, so I could definitely be wrong. Let me just state that. So I am open to hearing the engineering argument for this, but the reason that
can we loop that part where you say I could definitely be wrong?
They can loop it if they want.
I'm just inviting them to loop that,
so
like GIF it.
The reason that the yellow light is in between the green and the red is because there's a lot of variables happen. There's so many variables while all the cars are moving.
Sure.
Where you're at, how fast you're going. So there's a decision to be made, right? There is no decision. It's a binary decision that needs to be made. Cause like when you're slowing down, how fast am I gonna slow down? Am I gonna go through the light? Am I not? There's only one decision that you can make when the light turns green, and that is to accelerate, to go. And so by seeing the yellow light for a split second, the outcome is the same. It's unnecessary. It's not needed. It doesn't do anything because people are responding to it the same way that we respond to a green light.
The thing that I read about it was that it's related to stick shifts because if you're not, to get in the right gear, it's just another heads up because you have to, there's preparatory work. I'm not making this up. This is something that I happen to read.
I understand that, and there's many more manual cars in England than there are in America.
I only drive manual.
But here's my thing.
That's a lie. But I do like.
If we're all, I guess okay, all right. So
we don't need to camp out. We don't.
It's not up there long enough because that's not a bad reason. Because now there's a variable. If you've got half of the people in line have manuals and half of the people have automatics. The people who have automatics are theoretically going to be able to start that much sooner. So therefore, maybe the length of the yellow light is the average time that it takes for someone to get into the right gear and go, to get in first gear and go.
Now I would also say that you could also already be in first gear like we do in America. Wait, so I mean, the reason why I like it is the reason I already gave. It's emotional. It's psychological, so there's no argument here. It's fascination only.
Well, one of the thing that I pointed out at the beginning of the concert as well is that the urinals, there's a few differences in the bathroom we'll talk about, but one of the differences in the bathrooms, in the men's bathrooms, is that the urinals, and I'm assuming that's what they call them as well, on the wall that you pee into. You can poop into them. I have in an emergency.
I think they call them loo holes. The bathroom's called a loo, so.
Nowhere, anywhere, was there a divider between the urinals. And now that it is not exclusive, it's not that there's only dividers in the US, but there's dividers in most places.
At least 50%.
Yeah.
Well, I did not encounter one urinal divider.
And they're pretty close to each other, so it's kind of like, I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I don't feel completely comfortable.
You know what I think it is? they don't have small talk with strangers. That's something that doesn't happen. Like it happens some in America. Like people strike up a conversation with somebody just out and about.
Do you think that's the case? You just went to one city for a couple of days.
I read about this.
Oh, you've been reading.
I just wanted to validate what I thought were the differences. I'm like, I just happened to find that out. Like they don't have small talk on like the tube. You know, you don't.
It's weird for them to speak to each other, to strangers.
Now in New York, I mean on the subway, I don't see people talking to each other. But I think maybe there's a higher likelihood that Americans will shoot the breeze at adjacent urinals if there's no divider. But the Brits don't have to worry about that.
I've had a number of people strike up a conversation with me while I was urinating.
In London though?
No, definitely not in London. But
not in London.
But
if there was a divider,
not my preferred communication.
No,
climate.
I don't like. I don't even talk to.
I don't even turn my head. I will not respond
myself.
to you.
I don't talk to myself at a urinal.
No, definitely.
You don't want to be at a urinal muttering to yourself. That's not a good look.
So they don't have dividers. They also don't have paper towels.
That's good on them. A lot of hand dryers.
And this is, I mean, this was the case
dryers,
in Amsterdam as well. I think.
And in Australia.
There may be
I think everybody else has figured out that we don't need to dry our hands on trees, except for us.
But is it really better for the environment? Because you're using electricity, which in most places is still, the majority of the electricity is being produced by fossil fuel burning. So I mean, I guess once we go all renewable, it definitely makes sense. It has been proven that they're not as sanitary though, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think that they did a study that the hand dryers, even though sometimes they say it's more sanitary, it's not more sanitary because it's blowing bathroom air around. You know what's in bathroom air is little pieces of pee and poop, man.
Well, the thing, and a lot of them would have that Dyson where you like, it's that small slot that you gotta like totally get your flat hands in, and then it opens up a little bit on an air blade, and then you're like slowly pulling your hands back out. But it's nerve-wracking, man, because you feel like you're so close to the plastic parts that everybody's been so close to.
And not only that, what happens on the way out? You touch the handle. You don't have a paper towel. You can't do the perfect bathroom trip without a paper towel.
We wrote a whole song about this.
Dry with it, then retain it, for the doorknob may be tainted. As you exit, bang it off the wall into the trash can. It's the perfect bathroom trip, man.
The paper towel is for opening the door.
We still use that instrumental at the end of our Ear Biscuits.
We do?
Perfect bathroom trip is the outro.
Wow.
That's right.
That is what that is, isn't it?
It's a perfect bathroom trip.
So you can't have a perfect bathroom trip in England because you're going to end up contaminating yourself on the door handle no matter how well it goes.
I think you can use your shirt sleeve.
Or your own hanky, or your foot. But you open it up with your foot. Now everybody who decides to open it up with their hand has been compromised.
Did you feel like the hotel was different?
Definitely. And we stayed at the hotel that was right there at the venue, at the XL.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've stayed at this brand of hotel in the US. And listen, I'm about to sound like a spoiled brat. Fine, whatever.
I think we already do.
Deal with it.
We are spoiled. We sound like it all the time. Just keep it rolling.
While we're talking about differences, I'm gonna tell you, I mean, the sheets were rough, man. The sheets
were rough?
The sheets felt like a little bit, like a little cardboardy, and then the TP in the bathroom.
I was gonna ask Jenna if she thought the sheets were rough, but like she works for us. She's not, you know, she puts up with us all the time. She can probably put up with some rough sheets. Did you think the sheets were rough?
I did, but it's
okay, you did because they were. Now I didn't
notice. I didn't notice the sheets were rough, but I'll tell you what I noticed. When I took a shower and then I got that towel down and I was drying off, I dry off my face first and I take a deep breath and the freaking towel smelled like ramen.
No, they make towels out of ramen there.
I mean, it's if it got real damp, it might would have just turned into a floppy noodle.
But maybe that might be an isolated thing because I have a theory about the rough toilet paper and the rough sheets. Again, I've stayed at this kind of hotel in the US and I do not remember this. And again, I'm not saying that it was intolerable. I slept fine. It's just
good.
The sheets that I enjoy on my bed and at the typical hotels that I frequent in the United States of America have very soft sheets. It's just part of the deal.
High thread count.
And also, they have quilted toilet paper inside of the bathrooms. I have quilted toilet paper in my bathroom.
So what's the theory?
Because I have I want to treat my butthole well. I mean that's what I do. That's the kind of guy that I am. I actually have a bidet. But then
well, you know I got a bidet. I got a bidet for days.
I just think that something about like
I can set the exact temperature of it.
You have the history of
we're so pampered.
You have the history of the English people, like, you know.
I could sear my own butthole with the temperature of my bidet if I wanted to.
Well, you don't do that. That's not caring
just
for
like
your
you
butthole.
You just wanna, when you're done, you just want that thing.
Do you want to hear the theory?
Smoke.
The theory is
Sizzle.
that Western Europe, like people, it's a rough bunch, man. I mean, actually, like legitimately, if you ever read Guns, Germs, and Steel, which I have recommended on this podcast before, a lot of people ask, why is it that the people from Western Europe who went to the New World, why did they not die from the diseases? Why was it the Native Americans that died from the diseases that the white people brought?
Because they had rough rectums, that's why.
The reason is because they had lived in close quarters and sort of this like uncomfortable bacteria-laden lifestyle.
Sewage on the
sewage
bricks.
And people on top of each other. Like if you go back to like old school Western Europe back in the Middle Ages, it was dirty as crazy. It was so crazy.
Unapologetically stepping on chickens.
People dying all over the place. And then you've got, you know, the people in the New World, the Native Americans.
Wide open spaces.
Wide open.
Pottery.
They weren't living on top of each other. And so you got these super viruses, super bacteria that are coming across, you know, on these boats and then just decimating the native population. I think that they just have this
ruddiness.
It's just been rough, man. And they like it rough. they like the sheets rough. They don't know that the sheets are rough. But something about coming over to
we're soft.
Coming over here and like starting a new nation that's all about freedom. You know, it's like
freedom. Why are you guys saying that?
we got ahead of ourselves, you know? We're like, oh, you know what? We can vote. We don't have to have a king. We can have a president. And we got all high and mighty about all our freedoms. And the next thing you know, we got
I want to wipe my
everything.
butt with a blanket.
Right, we wanted everything so soft. And we got it. And now we're spoiled. And,
we're spoiled.
And they're like, no, keep it rough, man. And so I envy them. I envy them that they can take it rough. They can take it rough. They can take a rough sheet. They can take a rough TP. Because my booty's adjusted. It's like now I go over there and I can't take it. It's like I don't have to travel with my own freaking toilet paper. Cause I'm just a, you know, spoiled American.
Yeah, you're spending too much time minding the wrong gap. You feel me?
Yeah.
I never saw that sign, by the way. I never saw a sign that said mind the gap. I saw a sign that said underground, but they call it the tube.
Yeah, we went on that.
I think an underground is a pedestrian tunnel.
While we're complaining about things.
Oh no, a subway is a pedestrian tunnel.
While I'm gonna say I loved London. Okay, let me just say that.
But let's go back to complaining now.
That's
where you said it.
That's where I'm going to land.
Oh god.
I loved London. I plan to go back. But let me complain.
We think it's funny to complain.
I'm just gonna complain a little bit more because I do want to talk about the food. I feel I have to talk about the food, okay? Now let me just say, I know that, again, not only are we spoiled as a culture, we are spoiled above and beyond because we live in Los Angeles.
It's a good food place.
We have
access.
We can get some good food, y'all. We like I go back to North Carolina and it's gotten a whole lot better than it was even when we moved away. But if you don't get up in there in the Raleigh area, you're not gonna get real good food.
But
now,
no, you're gonna get comfort food that's comfortable everywhere, reliably good. I mean,
I don't enjoy Golden Corral. That's what I'm saying is that I just can't do it anymore.
I know.
You know, you can judge me all you want. I just can't enjoy it anymore because I've gotten too big for my britches. But what happens is we go to London and we just, well, you know what? I'll let you take it from here because you had some choice opinions as well. Why don't you tell them about?
Well, there's it's the trope that the food's not good in London, and then they said, but it's gotten a lot better. And
Could you imagine what it was like?
We went to this place. We had to grab some lunch, and we're like going to this place. We end up going to this place called Slug and Lettuce.
Listen,
it's a chain. Why on earth?
We about to throw Slug and Lettuce under the bus. We're about to rip them.
Double-decker bus.
We're about to rip them a new one with the roughest toilet paper you have ever felt on your rectum.
Why on earth would you name a place Slug and Lettuce?
Maybe it means something different in English.
And why on earth would I suggest after we saw like 5 places that, well, because they had a menu out front and it said they had fish and chips on the menu. It's like, we need to eat like some food from Britain.
Well, and
we need to eat some, they have fish and chips.
We need to premise this with the fact that we weren't really in the main part of London, like where the XL is. I don't know what part of London we were in, but
we were like 40 minutes outside.
We
were in a suburb.
Like, we were in the Anaheim of London, for those of you who are familiar with the Los Angeles area. Like if you go to Anaheim and you're like, I don't like LA, well, you haven't been to LA. Like it's different, right? It's a suburb. So where the XL is not exactly London.
Well, and we took a gondola across the landfill
in the River Thames.
Yeah, to go in the O2 where they had all these different places where you could eat, and we're like perusing the menus as you walk down the pathway. And I'm like, let's just eat here. We're gonna grab and go something. It's like they got fish and chips and they got salads if you don't want that. And I need to eat some fish and chips.
But the reason we didn't eat at, there was also like a Mexican place.
There was a Mexican place, there was an Italian place.
But we have to tell a side story before we tell the Slug and Lettuce story, because the reason we didn't get the Mexican food is because the night before we had been out in the main part of London. Like we went to Shoreditch and then we ended up going to Soho or somewhere. I don't know where we went. Anyway, so we were we were bar hopping, basically going to these old English bars that said things like since 1529, which was that was amazing to go into bars that were that old. We went to this really, really cool place that was inside an old prison, and
old jail. They had
old jail.
You go downstairs and it was all this brickwork, and they seated us in this room that was an archway entrance that then it was one huge table that had bench seating, the other left side and the right side in the back, just like a U seating. And the whole ceiling was like a bricked in hangar. It was like an archway.
It was an old cell.
Yeah, it was an old jail cell, and we didn't realize that.
And we were like,
very cool.
We
were hungry.
We were getting some pints, but we wanted some food as well. And so I was like, are you guys serving any food? Because it was late, it was like almost midnight. I was like, you guys serving any food? He says, yes, we have, what do you call them? The small Mexican crisps.
And we all looked at each other, and you said,
it's like, tortillas? He's like, yes. What he really meant was tortilla chips and some salsa. So.
And then you were like, ooh, yes, that.
So he said, I'll bring you everything that I have. He had some olives, he had some pickles. He had, again, this is a very cool place.
Gherkins, I think.
But he brought the Mexican crisps, the tortilla chips. Now again, we're from Los Angeles. We know what a freaking tortilla chip is. We probably can get some of the best in the world, right?
We're very close to the place where there's lots
of source.
That's Mexico.
And the tortilla chips were I mean, they were tortilla chips.
Yeah.
They weren't absolutely horrible.
They were small Mexican crisps.
The salsa was ketchup with with onions in it. It was ketchup with onions in it. I mean, that's the only way that I can describe it. It was ketchup with onions in it. Now, I ate 2 bowls of it because I was very hungry.
You ate everything.
And I like ketchup and onions.
Yeah,
it's just, that's not salsa.
I know, but I mean, you're in London. Why are you ordering chips and salsa?
It's all they had.
It is all they had.
So that's why the next day.
It wasn't like we chose that. It was like that's all that they,
right.
Everything they had, we got.
I was still having an incredible time. I loved everybody. I loved the scenery.
The
and
drinks were great.
The drinks were great.
The atmosphere was great. The people were great.
The people were great. But then the next day, you were like, I want to get some tradition. I want to get some fish and chips. And I was like, well, I definitely don't want to go to the Mexican restaurant because I'm not in the mood for Mexican crisps.
This was Valentine's Day. I was in a sad place at that moment. You know, I wanted to be with my wife. I didn't want to be with you.
Right.
Eating Mexican crisps at some arena.
Yeah, it was an arena. It was the O2.
It was an arena.
Slug, but you insisted on
so I'm
slug
like,
and lettuce.
At least, well, they got fish and chips and it looks British in there and Jenna picks up the menu and she's like crinkle browed and she's like, well, there's like 18 pages of drinks and there's like 1 page of food. It's like, this is just a bar.
But there was a lot of stuff on the menu because at that point I had already made the decision that I wanted to get something healthy.
Well, I'm gonna get fish and chips.
Regardless of of how bad it is. So I had a little issue because I wanted the salmon and the superfood salad, right?
Oh gosh.
But they had salmon with vegetables and then they had the superfood salad with this other meat. And so I went up there to order the bar. I was like, so yeah, I want the superfood salad, but instead of the steak, I want the salmon. He's like, oh, we can't do that. It was like I had asked to like walk out with something. And he was like, we can't do that. I was like, you sure you can't just do the salmon?
You might as well would have said, you know, I'd like to burn this place down.
Yeah. And then he went and he's like, I'll go ask my manager. He goes and asks the manager and I see him ask the manager and the manager like looks at me and he's like, what? Like what? Okay, so you can't substitute. Maybe I've gotten spoiled because you can substitute other meats in.
Now at that point, you know, you weren't that spoiled because at that point, what did you do?
I ordered both. I said, okay, well then I'll take the salmon with that, and then I'll take the superfood side, the salad, whatever, and just give me both of them.
The fish and chips, just to cut to the chase here, were horrible. I mean, why come the fish and chips are horrible? They were the blandest, tasteless. I mean, I'm sitting there like pouring vinegar and salt over the whole thing. I mean, I need a lot of salt, and they don't salt a lot of stuff. I guess.
Well, no, because
it just was bad.
No,
so
because
bad,
we had
man.
good food, but at the Slug and Lettuce, we might as well have had a slug or lettuce.
After our show, we're devoting this whole freaking podcast to complaining about everything in London.
We'll be back, guys.
I feel horrible. After the show, we're like, we can't go in. We're just gonna go back to the room. We're gonna order room service, and we're like, well, we find out that like the hotel doesn't have room service at this time of night.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So we're at the front desk, and they're like, well, can we order pizza? And he's like, yes, and he like gives us 3 different like flyers of where you can order pizza.
Now, no places that are no chains that I recognize. And and listen, it isn't like I think that Domino's and Little Caesars, etc., Pizza Hut is like the best pizza in the world. I think but it's good pizza. I mean, it's passable pizza.
I will say that we have come to appreciate it anew because they delivered this pizza. It was so bad. My wife loves pizza. I had to put her on video chat in order to show her how sad this pizza was. And it's a pizza delivery place.
And let me tell you that the guys at the front desk at this hotel we were staying in specifically pointed out this place. They were like, we got that the other night and it was great. And so I was like, okay. So I think that it's us. You know what I'm saying? It was awful. I don't understand. Listen, pizza is simple. It's dough, it's sauce, it's cheese, and it's toppings. And they
don't have to tell them what pizza is.
But they failed miserably in all 4 categories.
It was uncanny.
I was like,
how much of it did you eat?
5 pieces. But I did not enjoy it.
You didn't enjoy it one bit.
At all.
No.
It was just sustenance. I was
Right.
freaking tired after our show and the meet and greet. We hadn't eaten anything in a very long time.
Oh, it's so
hungry.
sad.
It was 2 a.m. But let's talk about the food that we did enjoy, because I also had what I consider to be one of the top, it's definitely top 20 meals that I've had in a restaurant.
I'll agree with that. If you want to get really good British food, get Indian food. We ate at this place, Dishoom in Shoreditch. And this is like a sit-down restaurant, fancy cocktail drinks, like all the Indian food that you would expect from an Indian restaurant. And so it's like a sit-down meal dining experience. People are lined up around the block waiting for like hours. Like people are probably waiting 3 hours.
Waiting to wait.
Waiting to then put their name in and wait.
We waited an hour and a half and we just had to have one person there.
And it was worth it. It was so good. It was like a magical experience. And I think that's the key. You eat all this stuff and it's just so bland or like unbelievably horrible. And then you like this you go to these dining experiences and I think it's top 20. It's either really great or just really great by comparison. But it was fabulous.
But can you explain to me?
It was so good.
How, traditional English food has a reputation for being bland, right? Sort of meat and potatoes.
Mushy peas.
But then one of the countries that they imperialize has incredible food, and they end up getting that food, and now they kind of call it their own.
Yeah.
But if they like that food,
they didn't mess it up.
Because Indian food.
But why didn't it make the other food better?
Right, Indian food is so flavorful and so
Yes.
bright and like.
I think it may be the best food on the planet.
I think it might be my favorite like flavor.
I mean, we were gushing about it for hours.
But because the other good meal we had was the night before when we went to that really old bar that I think was founded in 1666, which I thought was cool.
Oh yeah, we had some meat pies. They were good.
And we had a Guinness and I had a venison meat pie that was, and then we got like a little sampler that had like a Scotch egg and some other things. All
great.
Really, really, really good.
So you go to the right place, you can get some good stuff.
And that's like traditional stuff. It was really good. It was like, it just had the right flavor balance. Because Stevie got a meat pie at Slug and Lettuce. You remember what that thing looked like?
Oh gosh. They should just call it Slug on Lettuce, and that's what they should serve. You know, you go and you're like, you know what I want, because it's all what you serve. I want a slug on a piece of lettuce. And you know what? You will have a better experience than we had.
This episode of Ear Biscuits is not brought to you by Slug and Lettuce.
We also had some great Thai food. Very interesting Thai food, just catty corner to Dishoom when we couldn't get in the first night.
Was that called the smoking goat or something like that?
Are we gonna talk about anything else? Because let's switch from the food and
Yeah. So anyway, we had some good food and we had some bad food.
We took a walking tour. I like to take a walking tour when I'm new to a city. I've said this before.
Mm-hmm.
We took a walking tour. This one, it happened to be a Jack the Ripper walking tour.
Yeah.
Turns out, didn't know much about the guy. He's a serial killer. And so, you probably already knew that. And I think I did, but I just didn't want to dwell on it. So I find myself walking around the city and it is butt cold and windy as all get out. And I'm like,
we're a little underdressed too.
We're a little underdressed. And this woman is walking us around saying, oh, look, here, a woman was disemboweled and her her throat was slit and then her innards were thrown over her shoulders. Yeah. And let's walk over here. I got another story for you.
This woman's uterus was cut out.
This woman, her throat was slit and her innards were thrown out of her body. Hey, now let's keep walking. I got a surprise. Here's where a woman, you'll never believe this. A woman's throat was slit and her innards were thrown out.
Yeah, that's what Jack
Just keep walking. And I think that just kept happening. It was
and
quite
it just kept
repetitive.
Getting colder and colder.
It was like, it was a serial walking tour. It was like the same walking tour again and again and again.
And the theme of the night was, we don't know who Jack the Ripper was, but it might have been this guy. It might have been this guy. It might have been this guy. And at the end she was like, so who do you think it was?
And we were like, I think wherever he is, he's probably warmer than me right now.
I was just thinking, does it matter? I mean, does it really matter? What, we gonna go put him in jail?
We are horrible. We are horrible walking tour patrons because like
no,
when we did that walking,
I was being very nice.
The ghost
though.
tour in New Orleans, like we were not good patrons there.
No, but because that girl,
that was not good.
She was not doing a good job. But this woman was really good at her job.
She was a ripperologist.
Ripperologist.
That's a title you can just give yourself.
That's also someone who uses UK toilet paper.
VidCon was a blast. And what I mean by that was we did a Q&A. Stevie asked us some questions submitted by Mythical Beast who were there. I always have fun doing that because the objective is to throw Stevie off of her game, to like just try to bring the audience along for the ride. That was fun. We did a meet and greet. We got to press the flesh with some fans. That's a political term for just like shake hands with people.
Yeah, you should probably come up with a new one.
And we had done our concert, which I'm gonna watch the tape back. I'm sure I'll have a lot of notes for us. But in general, I had a really fun time. I said it from stage. I was proud of you. You sat there and you played your keyboard for the first time.
Did you? Okay.
Look at that.
Speaking of that, now I've already told you that our musical hero, John Mayer, is learning. You told me that he was learning to play the piano, and I went on his Instagram and saw that he was doing that. Do you know who else is learning to play the piano right now? And I just saw on his Instagram.
John Legend. He's been finger syncing this entire time.
Nope. Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is learning to play the piano, and
very musically gifted.
And was like, I am learning to play the piano, and he's taking a course. An online course that Harry Connick Jr. teaches.
Huh, really?
And John Mayer commented on Jimmy's post and said, I've got adult onset piano fever as well. And I was like, well, hold up, so do I. And like John Mayer was born 5 days after me.
I love him.
And Jimmy is a little bit older than us.
I like him a lot too.
Now, John Mayer commented on Jimmy's post. I commented on Jimmy's post. At this point in time, he's responded to John Mayer.
Okay.
Hasn't responded to me, but give him time. Give him time. But what is it?
You want me to get in the mix?
Is there something in the air? Is there something in the water?
Is this Twitter or Instagram?
This is Instagram.
I'm on that. Shout out to Link Lamont on Instagram. I'll get in the mix.
It's just interesting that old men are teaching themselves how to play the piano.
It's a midlife crisis kind of thing.
Definitely seems like it. We had a great time at the concert. Thank you.
It was fun
for all you who came.
It did open things up to play that piano.
I want to make an observation about the crowd at VidCon. Not the crowd in the crowd, but the other YouTubers, right?
Not our people. Not Mythical Beast. You're talking about. I think I know where you're going.
I'm talking specifically. And I didn't know many. I didn't know any. I've got like the British YouTubers, Tom Ska and Jack and Dean and Dan and Phil and the people who've been around for a really long time that everybody knows about.
I regret we didn't get to talk to Jack or Dean.
I spoke to Jack.
Okay.
Briefly. He said hello.
To me?
He didn't, but now I feel bad because you get to talk to him. So just act, he said hello. Just take it.
To someone, probably.
But I noticed that now there's the old school like sketch guys that I kind of know and understand, but then there's like the new school British vlogger, right? And maybe they're European in general, maybe, I don't know, but I just noticed there was like a uniform. You know what I'm talking about?
There's a lot of brow threading, I noticed that.
Well, yeah, both the men and the women pay a lot of attention to their eyebrows being very perfectly shaped. But everyone's in athletic wear.
Yes.
Like cool matching sweats. Like all the girls have these like, they look like they're about to go to the gym at like a really nice resort. And they have their hair in ponytails. They have a crap ton of makeup on.
Oh goodness, yes.
A crap ton of scent, perfume on.
Yeah.
And they look like they're about to run like a celebrity track meet.
You know
thing.
that filter on Instagram that like makes your face look really fake and makeup-y?
Yeah.
They just do that in real life.
Yeah, but it's like everybody's really well put together.
Like
and
airbrushed face.
And then the guys are
the same.
Sort of the same thing going on, but like an athletic wear. I mean, look, I got a hoodie on, you know, I'm ready to be athletic at the drop of a hat.
Is this a Ariana Grande type thing? I think like, you know, with the ponytail and the athletic wear, you know, she'll do that.
Is that also, is that happening in this country as well?
I believe
it's not just something that I don't observe the young people anymore.
Right.
I just look over them.
You look through your own kids, right?
Right. And I have noticed that like our kids are like doing the athletic wear thing. But I mean, it's
but they take it to another level, and it's like if your backup dancers were all wearing athletic wear. You know, it's like that. It's a heightened type thing. It's heightened.
Yeah.
And then you're on an elevator, and then the doors are closed, and all of a sudden it's like, oi! And then all of a sudden the elevators open back up, and all these people pour in, and they're very excited about themselves.
Oh, well.
That's how I feel.
Okay. Yeah.
I just felt like I was on an elevator with a bunch of people very excited about themselves. Now, we're different. We're just very picky and demanding and crotchety and can fill reams of audio with complaints.
I'm not complaining about the extremely, you know,
they seem happier than us.
Well made up athletic
a lot
teens.
Happier than us.
But I just made an observation. I felt like I had fast forwarded to some in the distant future.
Yeah.
We will colonize Mars, and everyone will wear matching athletic wear,
velour,
and paint their faces and pull their hair really tight so that they can be transported by the special train that grabs you by your hair. I you know what I'm saying? It's like that would begin to make sense to me. But it's so. Everybody looked the same. It was very uniform. It was like, this is our uniform. We are British vloggers.
It's probably not a British thing.
You think it's just people of that age on the internet
yes,
now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are people on the internet now.
I love the humor. Like, let's not forget that. Like, we made a video with Tom Scott, and in the middle of the video, I was like, I just love the way you funny. You know, I didn't say that, because that doesn't even make sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, that was my sentiment. I really enjoy your humor.
It's the greatest.
It's the greatest.
It's the greatest, man.
It's the greatest humor. It's so self-deprecating.
And
we made it back. Oh, did I meet J.J. Abrams on the plane? Perhaps. I mean, I won't go into it, but we're buds. Rhett was, you know, I pointed him out when we were at waiting to get on the plane. We were like sitting there.
Yeah.
Pre-flight, like sitting in the airport.
And then we start walking to our seats.
I'm like, that's J.J. Abrams. He just finished filming the Star Wars movie.
It's not just J.J. Abrams. I mean, J.J. Abrams, this guy is responsible for the revival of the Star Trek universe.
Star Wars.
The shows that were on our list.
He's a brilliant
of our most influential television
what a
shows.
Brilliant
Alias.
What a brilliant
Lost
entertainer, writer, director, producer. Oh gosh, this dude.
And your seat was right next to him.
And I'm like, I made up my mind I wasn't gonna talk to him. I respected him so much that I didn't want to do me to him.
Well, but it was a 10-hour flight, and you weren't exactly, I mean, you were next to him. But
did I look at what was on his phone throughout the entire flight? Yeah, he played Words with Friends. He played some other game I couldn't identify. He was texting people. Somebody was like, hey, can you talk? And I was like, why am I reading his text? That's wrong, and I didn't read the rest. But it was kind of in my face, like I wasn't like craning. Like he would hold up, he was kind of leaned back, and he would hold his, I don't know if he's nearsighted or something, he wasn't wearing his glasses. He would hold his phone at like full arm's length away.
It was so you could read his text.
So that we could both read his phone.
He was like, Link, you seeing what I'm seeing here?
Well,
yep.
he hadn't talked to me. And then
you talked to him at the end.
Over the course of the flight, I was like having this internal dialogue about this dialogue, and also, more importantly, the dialogue that I was gonna have with my daughter. If I told Lily that I sat next to J.J. Abrams and I did not speak to him, she would be very angry.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when I got home and I was like, Lily, guess who I met? And like we had a little yes or no game, and she guessed JJ, and she got tears in her eyes. Like literally, she was like so like just emotional about the fact that I met him. And so then I was validated that like I had made up my mind that like when we're getting the bags and like he's about to walk out, and I noticed that like a flight attendant, I'm not gonna call him a stewardess, came up to him like halfway through the flight and was like, this is from another area of the plane, and like crouched down and talked to him for a while, and like he was most gracious to her.
Super nice guy.
And so I was like, JJ, congratulations on wrapping the shoot. And he looked at me like, dude, am I supposed to know you? And I'm like, I just saw the pictures online that were posted, and he was like, thanks, man, thanks. And he was like, yeah, I'm really excited about it. And I was like, well, you're not the only one. And he was like, yeah, I'm just glad at this point that like, I was afraid at this point that you're always afraid at this point, meaning when you're done shooting but haven't edited it, you haven't gotten to that stage that like, you're not gonna have everything. He's like, we got all of it. And like, so he gave me an assurance.
It's gonna be okay.
He had everything he needed.
J.J. Abrams has got he's got what stuff on lockdown.
He got what he needed.
It's good to know.
And I was like, you know what? I'm sure you do, JJ. And that was pretty much it. I'm sorry I had to cut off my conversation with you in order to turn and talk to him, but
yeah, I was
kind of in the middle of our conversation. I just like whip panned.
I understood.
Okay.
I was glad you initiated with him. I was glad you waited until that moment to initiate with him as well.
Yeah.
Because if you had done something to embarrass yourself early into the flight, then it would have been very awkward for the rest of the time.
Right.
For both of us.
Right.
Because you were next to me.
Very gracious dude. Very talented.
Okay.
So there it is.
So that's London. I'm sure that you have your opinions about our opinions, and that's what the world's all about. That's what the internet's about.
You know what? Let me know. # Ear Biscuits, because I am going back to London on vacation with Lily.
And I am later in the year. Both of us will be back in London.
We are gonna go back, and we are gonna experience it for just as tourists. No, not in work mode. And I'm gonna tread lightly when it comes to the food, but I'm gonna tread heavy when it comes to the experience. I love it. I love it.
Just gotta make the right choices. That's all. You just gotta make the right choices. No pizza.
Let me drop a recommendation. We gotta start teasing that we do recommendations at the top so that people will endure our complaints into the end so they can get to this point and experience what I'm about to recommend to you.
Okay.
And to them. So, because it's my week for a recommendation. Check baby, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rex in Effect is the name of the band. This is a Wreck in Effect.
Okay.
This is another song that I was having a conversation with Britton the other night about Ronnie Milsap. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling.
Yeah, big fan.
Oh, he's great. He's blind too. It's just if you're curious, he's the blind country music guy.
I think he was legally blind. I don't think he was completely blind.
Well, he wears the sunglasses if you're trying to picture who he is. When I dressed up like Lionel Richie and sang Endless Love with you, dressed up as Diana Ross, I looked like Ronnie Milsap.
Yeah, you did.
So that's who this guy is. We were talking about him, talking about how much we loved him, and he was like, well, we were talking about his voice, and he was like, well, have you heard his duet with Kenny Rogers?
Oh.
I was like, no, I haven't. Because Kenny has a signature voice. And he's like, well, and then we put it on and I played it. 1987's Make No Mistake, She's Mine.
Sounds like The Girl Is Mine, Paul McCartney, Michael Jackson kind of situation.
It exactly is that.
About the same year.
A couple of years earlier, this was originally a Barbra Streisand, Kim Carnes song. But then when they did their country version, they changed it from Make No Mistake, He's Mine to She's Mine, and they won a Grammy for it. Incidentally, it was also performed in a season of Glee, this song. So you'll have to listen to it on your own. I'm not gonna play it for rights issues, but Make No Mistake, She's Mine, Ronnie Milsap and Kenny Rogers. I sat there and listened to it. I'm getting goosebumps just telling you about it. Look at that. And you listen to it and you tell me who has the better voice. That's the question. And it's almost an impossible question. They both, you think.
Well, I would say Ronnie Milsap just based on.
But then when I heard it, Kenny starts and he's got that rasp and it's basically perfection. And then when Ronnie comes in, it's smooth, like jazz.
It's a good mix. I can imagine.
I can't believe I'd never heard this song. You're gonna love it, man. And you might like it too. It's
you might.
It's the voices, the iconic country music voices in one song. I'll leave it at that.
If they played Ronnie Milsap at the Slug and Lettuce, I might go back. Just have a drink and listen to some music.
Yeah.
I take it all back, Slug and Lettuce.
Hashtag Ear Biscuits, let us know what you think about all this. Thanks for hanging out with us, for listening to us, and whatever you're doing in your day, man, I'm glad we're a part of it.
Yeah.
To watch more Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist on the right.
To watch the previous episode of Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist to the left.
And don't forget to click on the circular icon to subscribe.
If you prefer to listen to this podcast, it's available on all your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for being your mythical best.